No. No, Brent's not here. Yes, he is. He's hiding around the corner. Good to see you, buddy.
We'll just take the item as read, since it's quite a long paper, quite detailed as to what we've been up to for the last 3 months or so. You'll see in here again details around our activities, the levels of compliance. We've put some lovely pictures in there of someone diving into our tanks at the farm. These are the types of things we've got up to in the last 3 months. But yeah, I'm happy to take any questions, and if we haven't got the answers, we'll be able to follow those up at a later time.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh, g'day, Tim. Councillor Cotter, then Councillor Johansson, please.
Thank you, Brent, for a good report, and Tim. Just on page 88, when you're looking at the Building Industry Engagement Program with the sediment runoff, and the council is launching an industry engagement program for the residential construction sector. But I thought that Environment Canterbury already had developed the toolbox, and the Zone Committee, Christchurch West Melton Zone Committee, was already doing this work.
Yes, but this is specifically what we have to do to fulfil our part of the consent as well. So we've slowly been ramping up, and I think last report we put up, we included information about our activity and the number of failed consents due to sediment, that type of thing. So this is just a next step, and it is required by ECAN that we develop this plan. So this is just putting it out there to you as council, so you know what we're up to. Yeah,
but
it's very much a joint.
We'd be working with them, so we don't reinvent the wheel or both be doing the same work.
Well, we are in a number of areas working with ECAN, and they do have a really good toolbox for commercial and industrial sites. This is just another part of that piece of work where it's really only us that can do some of these inspections.
Oh, is this only for commercial and industrial?
The toolboxes, I believe. Yep.
This is residential.
The one I'm thinking of. Yep. This is through our consenting team.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is giving more teeth and a bit more effort in behind. You'll recall the issue that the Zone Committee brought up, and getting more focus on that. So yeah. I think it's going to be a good result.
Yeah, but if you see a building site, a residential site, and they don't have the filters on the gutter, we would still report that through the Environment Canterbury pollution hotline? Or would that come through to council?
What we could do is provide a summary of all the different activities going on for residential and industrial sites around erosion and sediment that might spell it out a little bit clearer.
Yeah, and I think, but an avenue for reporting, because often the builds are in little side streets that
no one sees.
You might walk down and see that, but not many people would see it, and it does need to be reported, because it stops that sediment going down into our waterways with all the contaminants. So it's a really important thing.
Yeah, I mean, even if people want to use the SnapSend Solve app to send them to us, I mean, even if it turns out not to be us, we're working in conjunction with ECAN. So,
excellent, thank you. That's all.
Councillor Johansson.
Yeah, I'm just quite interested in us being non-compliant around erosion and sediment control, and I know you've put a remedial plan in there, but to me it doesn't really have the urgency. Is there a lack of resources in that department? I thought we'd put additional resource in around it as part of last year's annual plan. So I just continuing to get feedback from the community who are really unhappy with what they see at a lot of the construction sites and subdivision consent. So I just want to really understand what resource level we've got at the moment, and if we wanted to be compliant quicker, what resources we could put into doing so.
I believe we have previously briefed the council on what we were doing in Three Waters in conjunction with the building consent teams. I mean, they're and I think I'll just look at the page number towards the back. There's actually a page number 116. You'll see the number of inspections. I don't think it's a resource issue. We've got building inspectors out there all the time, and they are failing sites for non-compliance, which I think is a good thing. That added to these other initiatives of ours, It is a long-term thing. It's an education issue with some of the building companies and others. It's also, in terms of erosion and sediment control, of course, the other areas controlling the sediment that's coming off the hills, and that some of those planting and fencing schemes are long-term before they'll have an effect. So, no, Council, I don't believe it's the extra resources at this point. We want to see and make sure we get a change in the trend coming out of those inspections.
Right. And have we do we take a sort of VADE approach, or are we sort of using like abatement notices to get action quicker?
Again, I think I've previously mentioned this. The action through consents is that if erosion and sediment control isn't in place, it will be a failed inspection. So the builder needs to book another inspection, which ultimately costs them.
Thank you, Brent.
Right.
That's
And
good.
can I just check?
Councillor Harrison Hunt, please.
Kia ora. Just got a couple of local things I just need some reporting on, if that's all right. I haven't dropped by Wharenui Road as of late. I just wanted an update on the remediation works that are supposed to be done on Wharenui Road. Transport and Through Water is supposed to do that.
Yeah,
There's a
we'll
bit of a
have to.
muck-up.
I'll chase that.
Yep. And there was one more on Cheyenne Street, but I'll put that offline. Thanks.
Yes, if you send the details through of anything specific, we'll follow
Great.
up that way.
The big one of interest was Wharenui Road. There's quite a lot of local interest that everyone wants action on. There was a stuff up a wee while back. I think you're just trying to jack it up. So,
Yeah, we're still trying to fix Barra Ave.
yeah, sweet. Sweet.
Okay, I'm more than happy to move this. And Councillor Johansson, did you put your hand up for seconding it?
Had some additional questions.
Debate. Are you in debate now? Right, we'll let. And Councillor Cotter's going to second it, and Councillor Johansson is going to talk.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, in the absence of being able to ask the question, I'll just raise it that we had a really good meeting with the regulator, and I think it would be really good to understand, as a result of that meeting, what's happening in regards to our water, particularly in the efforts around the exemption for residual disinfection with the chlorine. And so I'm really keen that we work in good faith with the regulator, who seemed to express a lot of good faith with us about working together going forward. And I was very optimistic from that. So I don't know what our comms plan is. I don't know what information we can share with our community, or what actually we won't keep doing based on the sort of new information. But it would be good to get an understanding of that at some stage, especially with the community who still raise the concern with me on a regular basis around the impact of the chlorination. I do think that we do need to continue to think about how we work with ECAN around sediment and erosion control. It is just really obvious that there's some huge gaps in how we're monitoring and enforcing, and I'm a little bit concerned that, you know, once we identify something, we still need quicker timeframes in which those things are addressed, and we need to really be on top of our game in that regard. So I appreciate the work that staff are doing. I just think maybe that joint meeting with ECAN, we can talk through some of the lessons that we could learn into how we can get better control on those subdivision consents and those big building sites. So just wanted to raise those concerns, but happy to receive the information in the report.
Thank you, Councillor Cotter.
Yeah, thank you, and I'm sure that the chlorination update will be included in the next report, because this would have been compiled before we met. And I just want to thank you for a really clear report, and also for the information that you are working really closely with Environment Canterbury around the sediment control. I think it's really important, and the compliance for our consent. I just want to draw attention to page 93, where it looks like you're 20 full-time employees short. You're aiming for 200, you've got approximately 180. And also just drawing council's attention to the reduced revenue to date of 545,000, mainly due to the excess water charges not coming in. Thank you for the report. I'll be supporting it today.
Okie doke. So that's enough. That was debate, wasn't it? Yeah. So with that, because we have a mover and a seconder, I'll put the motion. All those in favour?